So forget about the official job titles you see on LinkedIn. The real career map in finance, the one that leads to actual power and influence, is built on a single, really powerful idea: the gap between what everyone can see and what's actually going on. Let's peel back the curtain on this hidden world. And this is exactly where the journey begins. Just drop yourself into this scene for a second. It's not really a job, is it? It's more like a total immersion into a universe that runs on a completely different clock, one that's fueled by cold coffee and a nonstop flood of data. This is ground zero for anyone who wants to make it. And this is the secret handshake, the fundamental rule of the whole game: information asymmetry. Look, it's not about just working harder or even being the smartest person in the room. It's about seeing, understanding, and then using this gap between what's visible and what's real. This is the true currency of power. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to climb this ladder level by level. We'll start at the very bottom, just learning the lay of the land, and go all the way up to the very architecture of the market itself. Each step, as you'll see, is a whole new way of looking at and using information. All right, let's start at ground zero, level 1. This isn't just about your first job out of college. It's about learning the fundamental shape, the geometry of the entire system from the inside. You know the feeling. At this stage, you aren't really a person. You're a function. You're the one who runs the models, who checks the numbers, who formats the presentation decks. It is an absolute grind, for sure, but it is an essential foundation. And yeah, your official job description, that's just the surface. The real education, the thing you're actually learning, is how to spot those little gray zones, those tiny inconsistencies where, 2 plus 2 suddenly seems to equal 5. You're building your technical chops, yeah, but you're also learning a much deeper truth. Just being in the building, close to the flow of capital, that's your first real advantage. So, after you've put in a few years in the trenches, something starts to shift. You graduate to level 2. And now it's no longer just about processing endless data. It's about starting to see the patterns inside that data. And listen, this is a huge leap. You're starting to build an intuition for the human side of things. You begin to see the real game being played under the table. You're reading the subtext, the body language, and that's where the most important information always is. What you're really doing here is building your own private archive in your head, a collection of deals, models, and especially the failures. You remember the deals the firm wants to forget. You start connecting a new deal not to some abstract market rate, but to a relationship that was forged over a dinner 15 years ago. Your gut feelings start getting so good that other people start calling it foresight. This slide just lays out the transition perfectly, right? You're making this massive leap from being a level 2 analyst who just executes and reacts to becoming a level 3 originator, someone who actually creates and shapes things. You're not just playing the game anymore. You're becoming a force that can actually bend the market. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, welcome to level 3. At this point, information asymmetry isn't something you just notice anymore. It becomes a tool, something you actively use to influence how things turn out. The whole mindset just flips. All that knowledge you've been building up, that is now your number one asset. You stop apologizing for knowing things that other people don't, and you start structuring deals and conversations around your informational edge. I love this phrase, language as insulation. It is so true. At this level, you master the jargon, the complex language, not just to talk about complicated ideas, but to insulate the real-world, often human, consequences of these massive financial decisions. Language becomes both your shield and your weapon. And now, we ascend. We're heading into what you could call the sovereign tier. At level 4, you are so far above the day-to-day noise of the market that you're not really playing the game anymore. You are setting the rules of the game. Just look at the scale of the chessboard we're on now. Your decisions don't affect one company, they send ripples across entire economies. You're not calling a trader, no, you're on a first-name basis with finance ministers. You don't need insider information because you understand the architecture so deeply, you can see major events forming long before they ever hit the news. And finally, we get to the very top of the mountain, level 5. This is the most abstract and most powerful stage of all. It's where the person becomes pretty much inseparable from the market itself. At this altitude, getting your hands dirty, well, it's a liability. Direct action is clumsy. You haven't made an actual trade yourself in over a decade.
Your influence is channeled through layers of trusts and offices, all protected by ironclad NDAs.
See, your power isn't about actions anymore. It's structural. Your name is on a trust that owns a holding company that owns positions across 9 different jurisdictions. Privacy and complexity, those are your greatest assets now. They make your influence both massive and almost totally invisible.
You've completely transcended the market. The daily swings, the breaking news alerts, that's all just noise for other people. You're not in the market anymore.
The market is in you. Your relationships, your history, your capital, all of it is so deeply woven into the very fabric of the financial system that your existence and the markets, well, they're basically the same thing. You are the architecture.
And just like that, we're right back where we started. Because way down on the lobby, there's a new analyst walking through those glass doors for the very first time. As one person becomes the architecture, another is just stepping onto the first square of the map, totally unaware of the real journey that's ahead of him. He thinks he's just starting a career.
Because here's the ultimate truth about this whole thing. The machine doesn't stop. It never stops. It just finds new people to run it at every single one of these levels. So the only real question left is, where on this map are you?